1st?
Oh, yeah. We got October 7th and October 21st.
So we would kind of look and see if the revenue limit worksheet changes at DPI after that at any point to see if there needs to be any sort of emergency meeting. But right now we really are down to what is enrollment. So I don't know if you guys have any questions on this specific one. I can let you know how that, what the IT part of that was.
Okay, thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
Very nice job.
Yeah, I
I think we
really,
can get a little closer than that.
I really appreciate that report, Ryan. I think it's, really helps in a simple form understand.
Okay, we'll continue with yours.
Yep, all right, my turn. Okay, so that's actually, Ryan's report directly relates to what I'm about to share, is that for this upcoming school year, the majority of funds come for public schools through the third Friday count and enrollment, so between the 8 and the 11. So I just gave you a sheet that we've been trying to really track what's been happening with our enrollment because it matters that much to all public schools. So we did a head count. For us, this is a head count, this is not membership. So these numbers won't show up in the revenue limit worksheet. This is just students in seats, right, as of right now. So we still have to look at membership and then also look at open enrollment, another level. But just today, Janet had a couple changes and just there's plenty of movement that happens in the state of Wisconsin. So our enrollment then that we had as of, I think it was like May 22nd, was 1,091 students. And you can see how they're broken down by grade, by building. And then we projected, based upon looking at trends, based upon having to project out our third grade numbers, our ninth grade numbers, and our 4K, we projected that we'd be down about 25 students, and we played it safe. So with that, I looked at one of our studies that we had, and it projected that we would be at 1077, that's the Applied Population Lab study, and we actually ended up at 1090. So we were 1091, projected, we thought as an administrative team and secretaries all getting together, kind of forecasting with real numbers, we said, okay, we think we'll be 1066. And then based upon the amount of movement and new families, new names in our area, we, as of today, had 1,090 students in the school that we took attendance for. Now, that's still not third Friday count, so that's great that that number's there. That doesn't mean anything until it makes it to the third Friday. They're here the day of, the day before, and the day after, technically, is how it's supposed to go. So, in attendance, like, if I was sick the day before, that's okay. What they're getting at is actually not in the school system itself. So like they have moved or just moving in. So that's a big day for us. So that's September 20th is what the third Friday count is. So we're gonna have a budget presentation based upon the numbers that we're gonna be looking at, which will not actually be the third Friday count. Just trying to get in front of it and give you some information so we're not giving you a preliminary budget 2 weeks before it ends up getting approved. So that's great to see the stability and the enrollment like that. The tough part for us as the school administrative team here is building a budget and staffing to reflect it, because we made some staffing adjustments to reflect the decline, and we actually have on the agenda tonight to approve a kindergarten teacher, which is wonderful because we absolutely need that. In the meantime, when you decline in the state, you actually get more funds during that. So we have stability that we're showing you, but we may be in a more of a deficit mode because of it. I'm not going to say that now because we still have to look at all the open enrollment and all the variables. But when we come to the next board meeting, it's a 3-year average totally. It is for sure. But in the meantime, when we plug in the changes, it does soften it. But when it softens it, it actually you sometimes see some additional aid from the state of Wisconsin because of that, or additional levy authority. So just say, hey, good news. Absolutely, it's about students. No district ever wants to come and say we're declining. Never, right? So it's great. We actually have stability in our numbers that we had in the school today, which is actually rock star. With that may come a decline in revenues. Go figure. but it does bring stability, it does bring a more manageable budget in the big picture for us. So it's wonderful, just so you know. It really is, that's what we want. It just is a challenge with school funding and how that works. So something to celebrate to see that many students there. We had our opening in service last week, first day of school today. I'm sure they'll be able to speak to first day of school stuff. The opening in service last week, Monday, it was an all district day. So it was one of the first times since I've been here, so this will be my 4th opening in service. We had all district staff attend the welcome session, that was the morning, plus they attended a breakout in the afternoon, and we invited them, depending on their schedule, what they have going on with building needs, we invited them to another half-day workshop later on in the week too. So got a ton of great positive feedback about it. Thanks to Joe and John that made it to the opening in service, and we were very fortunate to use the high school auditorium and have the space there. The sound and lighting there is absolutely just perfect for us. It's a great venue. I definitely will encourage and will continue to encourage community organizations to rent out the space, to use the space. It's super user-friendly too. Push a button, do different settings and lights. Push a button in the back, you can connect it directly to the projector. It's a laser projector with a HDMI cord. Sound and everything is connected just like that, done, ready to go. It takes almost more work to set this one up tonight than it does to actually use that space. So really neat, it's very comfortable, all updated. That was awesome to be in that space. On Tuesday was, we tried to reserve the day for work day. We did have special education kind of had their own side agenda with some of the needs that they had for the week. Kara did an excellent job of organizing a lot of PD and support for our new paraprofessionals in the special education world. Then we had our back to school night that was well attended at all 3 events, and they can speak to there. We had Wednesday was a lot about vertical team time and what it means to be part of a team, and the work we're doing with Ted Knightsky and the rapid improvement model. There's a lot of tools that we've been exposed to, and our goal through that experience was to make sure that the staff are exposed to those tools and those tools make it to students. So it's fun for me today to be at the high school to see Mr. Zarnot and the teachers using some of those tools already automatically with the students, because the continuous improvement mindset of we don't have it yet, but we're going to get there, that is so important that our students need to have that, and it's not just with the adults. So that was really cool to see. And then they had a new math adoption over summer, so there was time allotted for our numeracy work for our teams to come together. That evening we had a WRS presentation. Someone from the Wisconsin retirement system actually came in, and it was a voluntary meeting, spoke to staff. The staff that stayed late said that it was actually one of the best meetings that they've been to, and they feel like they have the most information ever, which is good. Sometimes it's an anomaly. We're always, like, there's a retirement system out there. We've been told, we know it's one of the strongest in the United States of America, if not the world. In the meantime, how exactly does that get calculated? How exactly can I plan for that? So it was great to have some nice attendance for that. Then Thursday, we had 2 representatives come and do some reading and writing workshop, professional development for our K-8 staff. That was very well received, as well as more numeracy support and training. And then a lot of building meeting and just building time is what was committed for that day. Then that afternoon, with our new insurance, we have a new wellness program. It's extremely different than what we've had in the past. It is very much online, web-based reporting, and we had that presentation for staff, and that was well received. And if anything, I think it'll be more meaningful than what we've had in the past. So I'm looking forward to seeing the staff's success with that. And that matters that they are successful. What they pay for premiums towards our insurance are reflecting in there. So I'm willing to be a coach and help anybody just to make sure that they're successful. The high school is pretty much done. So I received communication that's saying that our punch list is complete. There are still things that are on a to-do list. Some of those to-do list things are like on the auditorium stage, we have some sliding panels that actually can be part of the set that they can paint. Those aren't in yet. The gym lobby door needs to be replaced. The reception window where you come into the building, you say hello to our school secretary, that needs to be updated. We're not happy with the quality of that, so we already have that in progress for one that'll last for 25 years. The current one doesn't seem like it'll hold up. They're still running around balancing the building, and we did get training for our local staff, but we can't access the software yet, so there's some parts of our buildings that are hot, and we still could not, the people who have training could not go and make the adjustments. So that's getting fixed right now. A little bit of paint here and there still, some work in the science rooms for the gas shut-off valves. We would like them set up a different way. Fire department came in and said we need to adjust those, so that's something small. And then we're wrapping up the focus on energy credits. That work cannot be complete till the building is done. They actually have to walk through, they have to see that the work is complete before they'll sign off on it. So that's happening. And then we do have owner direct contracts, and so with companies like BICO, we're responsible for the punch list, checklist stuff with them. So they're a local company, which is great for us to be working with. And then we have a 1-year warranty, and the communication I saw today looks like that 1-year warranty starts from today. So it's really important that we try to get on these things. The furniture that we have, a lot of that is actually a lifetime warranty that goes with that. And now it's time to just get organized, all of our documents and resources, and have these big binders and also digital files that help to document all of our experiences. So the open house last week, big thank you to all the staff that worked so hard to prepare the building for that. It certainly wasn't like last summer where they were demoing things still as we were trying to put things back together. So much improved experience for all of us. But still, we really wanted to get our best foot forward as much as possible to show that that building was complete and show our thankfulness for it. So the custodians and Travis and Lee and the whole high school crew did an awesome job getting ready for there. But also the middle school and Parkview had a ton of work to do in order to be prepared. So all of the buildings look great. So I encourage you to go and check them out. Upcoming events, Picture Day. So I handed out these lanyards, and you can stop by Picture Day at all 3 buildings actually, and probably I would recommend mornings. Come in the mornings.
They'll be done before lunchtime.
Yeah, and in the past, like last year, I even didn't make Picture Day. So, oops, I couldn't get a picture. So make Picture Day in the morning on the 10th if you're interested. And you could get an actual ID pull on the bottom of this. But otherwise, you could put a set of keys on it if you want to. That's what we're currently doing tonight.
What is the time again?
So I would say 8 o'clock to 11:30 to be safe, and even 7:30.
Where at?
7:30
Any
to 11.
building?
Where at the high school?
It's all 3 buildings. And we can, you know what I'll do, I'll put it on my to-do list, I'll send out an email.
And I've noticed in the last few years, the school board wasn't in the annual.
Yeah, so you gotta get a picture or you don't end up in it.
No, I mean the group picture. or
The
whatever.
yearbook, you're saying?
Yeah, the yearbook.
Yeah, okay. So,
I'll take care of it.
and me,
I don't know
I
what
wouldn't
it's
even
called
know
anymore.
traditions on what was in it and not in the past, just so you're aware.
It used to be the Rocket, what's it called now?
Yearbook, award-winning yearbook. Every year it gets nice accolades. So, on the 13th, Ted Nancy's coming. He's going to work on our district-wide KPIs, key performance indicators for the strategic plan stuff. All the buildings have a first draft that was supposed to be shared with their buildings and starting to get input. And we are going to start creating goal teams to actually around these key performance indicators. A lot of jargon. So we have goals. We're going to create goal teams to help accomplish these goals. All of this is going to make it to you, I would say, soon. So this fall, finally, we'll have all the pieces of the puzzle put together, and it's awesome. So really excited about it. And one of the things is the buildings have made a lot of progress, but departments like special education, technology, buildings and grounds, finance, those are still a work in progress. I would say there's been a lot of focus to get ready for the school year with those tiny departments. We've got some more work to do with those. So buildings are probably in a better place than those are as far as just progress on those. So I think it'll be later in the fall, right before the holidays here, that we'll have something truly put together. Because the reality is, once we have it, we'll just continue to adjust it. So let's get it right out of the gate versus trying to rush something. So, but Ted's gonna come and work with us on a district-wide one, and then we wanna make sure all the other pieces naturally scaffold into the district goals.
And I understand annexing some of those things, and kind of tweaking some of those, but I don't necessarily know if this is an appropriate word. Do have a little bit of a disappointment that we don't have all that done before
Sure.
the budget. Because a lot of that does tie into the budget, maybe that will be
A lot of it will
trend.
have to do with the budget.
A lot of
There's a
that will
whole,
tie into the budget, maybe the following year.
yeah,
But I understand continuous improvement, we're working.
good job, because I can't, there's no way I could get that done by the time you.
Well, no, I'm just saying, it's
Mhm.
kind of a,
Yeah.
like I said, maybe not the best choice of words, but a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
That it didn't tie in.
Sure. So to me, we can't get it done quickly enough either, right? Like I wanted this
Yeah.
done, all of it before the staff even came back.
Sure,
And
sure.
it's just reality is, it's summer and there's not even people around. So as I'm trying to pull together teams to be working on
Sure.
this,
Yeah,
that I don't have the manpower to be doing that. And especially like I'll do a buildings and grounds one and say, he was a little busy this summer.
I know.
Like that was the last thing probably that he wanted to be working on. But now we, like with school up and running, those positions, those teams helping with those, we should start to make some great progress.
Can you give us a cheat sheet on some of the KPIs at least, for
Sure.
performance indicators? And
Sure.
did
What I
ask
could
you
do, okay, what I have right
Even
now.
a picture of whatever board you're working with, is it
Yep.
back there still?
So I'm back on the board.
Yeah.
So go on a
Yeah, I'll
field
go
trip and
back,
check
yeah,
that out.
I'll go now.
But we already adjusted some of those in a
Okay.
meeting that we had a week and a half ago. So just trying to make sure all the pieces fit together. I think after the meeting on the 13th, we'll absolutely have something prepared. So like on September 16th, you could see a draft. Let's see if I can make it happen. Okay, so we'll see if we get a draft. I know we can certainly get a draft of the building administrator, the 3 buildings. I don't see a problem with that. We already have drafts of those. So I'll put on the to-do list. We'll have drafts in our report for those. The 18th through the 20th is the WASDA State Conference, and I have to organize that one, so I'm definitely planning on attending that. And then we have our open house, the grand opening of our open house for the high school. We gave ourselves a soft start so we could get things up and running. So this is just a copy of the invite that's going to be going out. Starts at 5 o'clock on the 25th of September. It's a Wednesday. So 5 to 6:30, we'll have like, it's really, hopefully everybody can make it. We'll actually have a ribbon cutting event in our Cardinal lobby. We'll be doing almost everything in that space. And then there'll be self-guided tours for everybody to go through the building. We will be sending out a specific invitation to anybody on the facility study committee and having like a reception prior to 5 o'clock. Hopefully people can make that too. So just to show our thankfulness. One of the things with that is that typically they have some kind of a little giveaway, like thanks for coming for here. So our goal this year is to start to really see some more Cardinal pride and work on some consistent branding. We have many versions of a Cardinal out in Mayville, so this is the official Cardinal that we use at Mayville now in 2019. So
Stepping on anybody's copyright.
no, we went in, that is a different Cardinal, that is not the Arizona Cardinal. So we changed it. So we had a staff apparel sale, and the profits from that go to the new school store that we've created. There's been just a district-wide online store sale also that they had some pretty nice progress for being right at the beginning of the school year. And then our school store at the high school actually has lots of merchandise that people can buy right now with school spirit stuff, which is cool, in addition to notebooks and pencils and pens and stuff. But we also have the Cardinal head as a decal that will be given out to anybody that comes to the event. And our hope is that we just go through town and see these, all the vehicles covered with that. But it's a window clink, so it also could be just like a glass front like that. So this is an example of just some of the gear that we have. So just wanted to share that, and we're trying to celebrate what it's like to be Cardinal, and let's get our branding out there and be consistent with our image, because It just depends on, even at a district level, you could see, maybe even Ryan's document here, yeah, that's the old cardinal head right there. So it's a lot to go through to replace that on all the different pieces. So little by little, there will be the mission for the school year to try to just all get to one curriculum. So that would be it for me.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Becky, how was your first day?
We are all still standing, everybody got home safely, that's the biggest concern. When you look at the littlest ones, is did everybody get on the bus? Did everybody get where they needed to be at the end of the day? So we were able to do that successfully, but it was a wonderful day. We had a chance to read, I had a chance to read a story to all the little ones, talking about the story of Humpty Dumpty and getting to learn how to fly and overcoming a fear that he had. But we got a chance, the only time they were gonna get permission to throw paper airplanes at school. We took them out into the gym. We wanted to be outside, but it was too rainy. We took them into the gym and let them throw some paper airplanes. So I will have a video for you to share with the next one, but we're learning to fly at Parkview this year. And so we've got paper airplanes that are part of our theme for the year. It was a good day. Probably more tears from some parents than we saw from some of the kiddos as they let them be today and left them at Parkview's doorstep, but it was a good day. And open house last week, again, a big success. We had very few families that did not show up for open house, so it was a good time.
Thanks, Becky. Lee, how was the high school?
Great, great. We had a wonderful day, and Scott's got a couple things that I shared, but we took a lot of information and activities that we learned from our leadership work last week with CISA. So what we did was we had the kids go around, and we had a lot of activities designed really for freshmen. Our goal today was freshmen get used to our staff get to know the freshmen, and get to know the building. So part of the activities is a scavenger hunt, and you see some of the selfies that the kids had to get around and take with teachers. That was Ms. Anderson and Mr. Schultz. That was one of the requirements, in addition to basically 15 other stops in the building, literally where they had to go into classrooms that they may not normally have gone into. This morning, it was also a lot of team building activities, because as we know, we want to get kids to communicate. So this is the cup exercise. And the audio's not working.
Audio.
But there's someone that it's a head, shoulders, knees, toes game, and then cup gets inserted, and then I think it's going to work.
Heads, toes, knees, shoulders, heads, cup.
So I
Yeah,
thought you might enjoy
the cup.
is number 5 there, and I won't use the name, has been here before, and he is a nice, quiet, shy safety patrol student for the last couple of years. So what we basically did is when we worked in our Cardinal teams, each, about every 18 freshmen has one teacher of the freshman class that they're assigned to. Every Monday they meet, talk about grades. But these were a lot of the activities the kids did, and what that built into, and Scott saw today, was they did the rock, paper, scissors exercise, the team rope exercise, and then the cup exercise, leading toward 2 kids that were selected as the winners as it came into the auditorium. And the idea was you cheer and encourage, and by the end of the day we had the entire auditorium of freshmen standing and cheering their 2 winners today, regardless of who won or who lost, which is really, really great to see. So I want to compliment our staff, because they dug in, took everything we learned last week, and now they can start using it within their classrooms. So it was really, really exciting. Couple other things. I want to thank Scott, because we shared this story today. A lot of the stuff got done at the high school by people that were there, but Scott made daily trips. And what was interesting last week, we had a family come up through the door, and Scott was out vacuuming the vestibule, because we just were shorthanded and everybody pitched in. So Scott moved a lot of things last week as well, in addition to our maintenance and cleaning crew. So everyone pitched in. Open house, as Becky said, was a successful night. A lot of, probably the most how do I say this? We had a lot of adults and community members that really had no attachment to the building through grandkids or kids or teachers. We had a lot of visitors that came to the building. And there's 2 groups that have made special requests to come up. The class of 1969, the class of 1974 are having reunions this fall. One is Audubon Days weekend, and one is the 28th, a couple days after our soft opening, as I would call it. Both groups that are coming back for their reunions have requested tours of the building because they've heard and they want to see the differences and things like that. So we're more than willing to oblige that group. And then one last thing is Joni DeRuyter, who works with CISA,